Self-development, Lee TV. Signs of a lie? 19 behaviors to watch out for in conversation. We're fascinated by the hidden meanings behind human behavior and words. We often wonder if the person we're talking to is telling the truth, or if they're being deceptive. In fact, there are numerous signals in human language and behavior that tell us about their sincerity. These may seem like simple behaviors, but they can also be important clues that tell us a lot. The key, however, is to interpret these signals correctly. So, what behaviors are signals of lying? Let's take a look. Body language. If you find yourself crossing your arms or squirming, it could be a sign of insecurity. You might adopt this posture when you've just told a friend a secret and are trying to deny it. Frequent neck rubbing. If stress or nervousness causes you to stroke your neck frequently, it could also be a sign of lying. For example, you may have seen a presenter stroking his or her neck during a presentation when they are bending the truth. Move your hands nervously. Clipping your nails or touching your skin with your fingertips can be a sign of stress or anxiety. For example, you may have seen a student who knows the wrong answer on a test fiddle with a cut with their fingers. Frequent voice changes. If a person's voice frequently changes pitch or trembles, they may be nervous. When lying to a significant other, you may be able to detect anxiety in their voice. Talking too much or too little. A tendency to over-explain things or, conversely, to avoid answering questions can also be a sign of lying. For example, think of someone who makes a mistake at work and then over-explains it, denying that they made the mistake. Inconsistencies in stories. When one story is inconsistent with another, it's possible that someone is hiding the truth. Think of a friend giving a different answer every time you ask them where they went over the weekend. Excessive counterarguments. Going overboard to defend your point can also be a sign of anxiety. For example, when someone is denied their opinion, think about how they try to over-argue the topic. Obsessing over details. Going on and on about unnecessary details to bolster a lie can be a sign that someone is trying to hide the fact that it's not true. For example, think of someone telling a story about their experience and putting too much emphasis on details that aren't actually important. Frequent gestures. Excessive gestures can be an expression of internal anxiety and stress. For example, scratching your head constantly during a conversation or getting up from your seat frequently. Inconsistent emotional expression. When there is an inconsistency between what a person says and how they feel, this can be a sign of lying. For example, if he talks about something happy, but his face shows sadness. Avoiding eye contact. When you're lying, you may have a tendency to avoid the other person's eyes. As a direct example, think of children avoiding their parents' eyes when lying in front of them. Overthinking. If you find yourself thinking for a long time before responding during a conversation, it could be a sign that you're contemplating lying. For example, taking time to prepare an answer to a question when you're trying to hide something. Shifting your feet. Shifting your feet frequently during a conversation can be a sign of anxiety. For example, imagine a candidate in a job interview who is constantly shifting their feet while answering questions. Biting your lips. When people are anxious or nervous, they often bite their lips. For example, when you're asked a difficult question, you might picture yourself biting your lip while you think and prepare your answer. Changes in breathing patterns. Sometimes people's breathing patterns can change when they are lying. You may notice that they breathe faster, or breathe heavily, due to nervousness or anxiety. If you notice someone's breathing is irregular during a conversation, it could be a sign of possible lying. Frequent nose touching. Touching your nose frequently can be considered a sign of lying. In fact, there are certain sensations in the nose that can occur when a person is lying, which is why they do this behavior. Sweating. You start to sweat when you're anxious or nervous, and this is often a physical response to lying. You may notice sweaty hands in particular, or beads of sweat on your forehead. Avoiding looking straight ahead. Sometimes when we lie, we try to avoid looking directly at the other person. Instead, you may tend to turn your body or face in a different direction. Looking at your fingers. Looking at your fingers or checking them frequently can be a sign of anxiety and stress. This can be seen as an unconscious behavior to alleviate anxiety about your own lies. In the end, it's important to remember that genuine understanding and communication between people is far more important than spotting signs of lying. The signs mentioned above are just examples of behaviors that people who are lying may exhibit, not absolute criteria. Many factors can contribute to this behavior, including the individual situation, cultural background, personality, and previous experiences. Therefore, it's important to try to understand the other person's feelings and situation, rather than simply judging these signals as signs of lying. After all, true understanding and communication comes from a deeper connection that goes beyond language or body language. Thanks for watching.